Grace Sri Gopal Pran Prabhu from New York Bhakti Center, Radha Govind Temple, Brooklyn. And Prabhuji will enlighten us on Bhagavad Gita, chapter first summary. So please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshanu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamisya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamisya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय हरे कृष्णा am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
yeah. Today is a very very auspicious day also. Before I start speaking on Bhagavad Gita, I thought I'll just touch a little bit on today's day. It's very very auspicious today. Today is the day when Srila Prabhupada had taken sannyas. So it's like today morning when we were making this announcement in the Mangalarti, after the Mangalarti, Ram Rai Prabhu from here was reading about how Srila Prabhupada had taken sannyas. Just for a few minutes he was reading, and then in that he was expressing how Srila Prabhupada was again and again, getting his dream where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is coming in his dream and telling him that, please take sannyas, take sannyas. First time when it came, he was like little bit shocked. But second time when it came, he went and approached and spoke to his god brother and his god brother Keshav Maharaj. He when he heard, he told, yes, this is the need actually that um, that you should immediately take sannyas. And this is an indication from the spiritual master that you should immediately take sannyas. And today on this Bhadra Purnima day, you know, Bhakti Keshav Maharaj gave sannyas to three of his god brothers, and one of them was Srila Prabhupada. And when Srila Prabhupada got sannyas, they were not like on the ceremony. When the ceremony had taken place, you know, Prabhupada was very happy that he's dedicating himself completely to the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But at the same time, he was doing everything what was required as a sannyasi earlier also. He was writing books, trying to print them, trying to distribute them. But then now it became very, very official. And as soon as he got sannyas, that day, though there were not many English speaking people during that time, but to just remember the instruction of Bhakti Sansvar Thakur that he should preach in the West in the English language. He gave the talk, and he gave the talk very beautifully in English language, expressing his thoughts and mind. So today is like very, very wonderful day that, Srila Prabhupada has taken sannyas and, has been dedicatedly serving in the instructions of his spiritual master, Bhakti Sansvar Thakur. So we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada that, he has done so much for us. And this is one of the steps in his, way of, preaching the message of Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Another important day today is Bhadra Purnima. All over ISKCON now we are celebrating Bhadra Purnima. We know the glories of Srimad Bhagvatam that, when it is installed on the golden throne and it's worshipped today, or, if someone gets a Bhagvatam, or, someone wants to give a gift to someone, today is a very auspicious day to give this Bhagvatam to the other persons who doesn't have Bhagvatam. Because Bhagavatam is such a wonderful literature that as soon as one comes in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, as soon as one takes interest in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he's completely, his all illusions will be destroyed actually. That he's suffering in this material world, and that he's a spirit soul away from the Supreme Lord, suffering in this material world. And the goal of the life is to go back home, back to Godhead, to serve our loving Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, with all his associates. So that is the glorious of Srimad Bhagavatam, that as soon as one comes in touch, the illusion what one is having around, the doubts what one is having around in this world gets smashed out. All this other religion, other dharmas, whatever one is occupying with, that gets resolved, or that gets dissolved in this material world only. So if anyone has Srimad Bhagavatam, it's very wonderful that one should start reading Srimad Bhagavatam at least today. They should take full shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Spend couple of hours just reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and get the special mercy that Krishna is presenting himself. In fact, in the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna himself, yes, this Suta Goswami is asking, where did Krishna take shelter? Where did the dharma take shelter when Krishna had gone back to the spiritual world, gone back to Golok Vrindavan? And it is told that the dharma had taken shelter in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the one thing, if anyone, comes in touch, his life becomes very, very auspicious. So so this is uh, this is so wonderful that if one gets an opportunity to be in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, and today is very auspicious to start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, or to have Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't have, one should try to have it. So that's like something which is very, very wonderful to do today, being Bhadra Purnima. And so this was what I just was thinking, that we should just understand the mood of what is happening. And today, generally here we don't celebrate much in US, but this complete week is very, very auspicious actually, starting from Ekadashi. It's the World Holy Name Festival, what we celebrate in India, where Loknath Maharaj has inaugurated this festival, where, devotees go out for chanting the holy name of the Lord. It's a very auspicious time, this 1 week, we have like, this Ekadashi is there, and then next day is Vaman Dwadashi, and just after that, 1 day gap, and then there is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day is there, and then we have disappearance day of Haridas Thakur. So this week is very, very auspicious, and then we have Bhadra Purnima, Srila Prabhupada taking sannyas. So this week is very, very auspicious week, and this is the week where we try to chant maximum number of rounds, and we try to distribute the holy name to so many people around. So this is like very, very auspicious time, where we come in touch with the pure sound vibration, the holy name. And if we can distribute it to as many people as possible, so that is very, very auspicious, that others' lives changes just by coming in touch with the holy name, or just by coming in touch with the Srimad Bhagvatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other stuff like that. So it's very, very auspicious time. Yesterday was such a wonderful day having the disappearance of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is known for his chanting. He's Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. He has been given, the Acharya, the title of Namacharya. Everyone is looking forward for something in this material world. Everyone is looking forward for that happiness in this material world. Everyone is trying to be satisfied in this material world. But Namacharya Haridas Thakur is not at all satisfied living in this material world, because he has that wonderful thing called the taste of holy name. He has that potency to chant the holy name of the Lord. And so he's looking, he's just taking shelter of Krishna's holy name and is fully satisfied. If you see the life of Haridas Thakur, it's one of the most glorious life what he has led actually. We tell that Kunti Maharani's prayer that, every time, please let there be an obstacle so that I can remember you. And if you see the life of Haridas Thakur, there were obstacles at every stage of his life. Every stage of his life, there were so many obstacles actually in his life. And throughout his life, he was like going from one phase to another, and there were obstacle after another obstacle. The Ramchandra Khan wanted to destroy his name, by sending the prostitute. That was one of the wonderful test what Haridas Thakur had passed so easily. He was trying to chant the name of the Lord, and the Muslims, the Qazis are getting affected, and they go and complain it to the king that we should not allow Haridas Thakur to chant the name of the Lord, and the Hindus are offending Haridas Thakur, telling that why, how is he chanting the name of the Lord? He is born as a Muslim, so we cannot accept him. And then people are like trying to just uh, destroy him like anything, and then he was punished to stop. The king has asked him to stop chanting the name of the Lord. And what he tells, even if you cut my body into thousands of limbs, thousands of pieces, each and every piece will start chanting the name of the Lord. I'm attached so much to the holy name. And he goes through the 22 marketplaces getting beaten up by the soldiers, and then he's put into the Ganges, and immediately he comes out of the Ganges and then comes back to the king. And everyone understands the potency of Haridas Thakur, and they all take shelter of him after that. So after that, Haridas Thakur has been insulted when he's trying to speak the glories of holy name at Gopal Chapal's house. So it's like so many things happens in his life. Now again, Maya Devi herself comes to test Haridas Thakur. So in this Acharya's life, you can see how many problems are coming, and each and every time they have only one thing, that is to take shelter of Krishna, take shelter of his name. And that's why Namacharya Haridas Thakur is one of the wonderful personalities. If you see his life, it's like so auspicious in one way that we feel that we need something in our spiritual life, and that is the taste. Yesterday when I was hearing one of the talks of Radhanath Maharaj, he was telling that every problem, everyone is suffering, in this material world, and everyone has so many problems, and all problems in the material world can be solved. All problems in the life can be solved only by one thing, and that one thing is nothing that Haridas Thakur had. What is that? He had the taste for the holy name. If someone can get a tinge of taste for holy name, all the problems, just a small speck of taste of the holy name, all the problems in his life are completely resolved actually. I was like, it was so wonderful to hear this thing. We hear it many times, but, we hardly work on this principle that, we want to develop the taste for our chanting the holy name of the Lord. So it's very, very auspicious when we come across these days actually, that, we reflect so much on our spiritual lives. We reflect, how we are progressing in our spiritual life. Where are we going? How many years we are going to live ahead? And what is my status, or what is my standard, what we are practicing in my spiritual life? If we don't reflect on these aspects, then it's very, very challenging that, we'll be able to make progress in our bhakti actually. And at the end, we want every day we pray that, we want Krishna Prem. We want Krishna Prem, but how much are we working? How much are we paying it's like for everything we need to pay the price. and how much are we ready to pay the price for Krishna Prem? How much are we developing our taste for the chanting of the holy name? So these things are to be checked actually again and again. These things have to be, revised again and again, and then our life becomes like very, very wonderful. Or else, our life keeps going on. Every day is coming, every day is ending. We are chanting the names of the Lord. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada books. But then, how much are we really taking shelter? How much are we remembering Krishna? So, these things have to be worked on, and especially when we have like such wonderful days like Haridas Thakur's disappearance day or any Acharya's disappearance day, then we should always try to go deeper in our reflection, go introspect you know introspect ourselves and think and work on that principles of where we can improve. So I was just thinking about this stuff yesterday and thought of sharing it before I start speaking on Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. Hare Krishna. So in the first chapter, as we see, you know, uh, last time also we discussed about this thing, about the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has been divided into the divisions of Bhagavad Gita is 1 to 6 chapters is Karma Yoga, 7 to 12 chapters is Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, 13 to 18 chapters. So it's like, it's like a sandwich actually. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are one which is protecting the main stuff in the sandwich is the main stuff in between. That is Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is Rahasya, actually, very, very secret. Why it is secret? Because it's openly discussed, but still it's secret because unless and until one approaches the Supreme Lord through a devotee and tries to practice under the instruction, it's very, very difficult actually. So Bhakti Yoga is the you know is an open secret which is there in Bhagavad Gita, and that different acharyas have given very wonderful commentaries on on this Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, or if we see, they are based on four acharyas actually. When we read the Prabhupada's purports in Bhagavad Gita, they are mainly from Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sridhar Swami, and Sri Ramanacharya. These commentaries Prabhupada had seen, and then Prabhupada had given his own commentaries based on these commentaries. So whenever we read the Bhagavad Gita, it's always like we should understand that we are getting in touch with so many previous acharyas, when because of their mercy, we are able to little bit understand something about something about the message of Krishna, what is giving to Arjuna. If we see the divisions of verses, there, Bhagavad Gita has got how many verses?
18,000.
No, 18,000 is Srimad Bhagavatam, not you are still in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhadra Purnima thing, I think. Bhagavad Gita has got
700.
700 verses. And out of that 700 verses, if we see, uh, most of the verses are spoken by Krishna. There are around 574 verses which Lord Krishna had spoken. And, there are 84 verses with Arjuna had spoken, asking different questions at different times, trying to, understand the principles more deeper, more, more deeply, by going into the philosophy more deeper. And then there are 41 verses spoken by Sanjaya. And then there is one verse which is spoken by Dhritarashtra. So if we overall calculate it, like 82% of the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Krishna. And 12% is spoken by Arjuna, and then 5.9% by Sanjay, and remaining 1% or like 0.1% by Dhritarashtra. So if we come to our chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, it's very wonderful to understand. First chapter, has two sections in one way. That is the introduction and the preparation of all the war, and then Arjuna's doubts. These are the two sections which are very, very prominent in this chapter. And first section deals with how Sanjay is informing Dhritarashtra about the formations and the activities what are taking place, the preparations what are taking place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So first 13 verses are like Sanjay is informing Dhritarashtra about Duryodhana's appraisals about to his relatives and the strengths of Pandavas and the Kauravas armies, how Bhishma and Kaurava army are loudly blowing the conch and indicating, giving joy not just to Duryodhan and to others. So this is like the first thing what is happening, the preparation of the war, where people, everyone is gathering around, and then the other preparation takes. This is first 13 verses explain about the preparation from the side of the Kauravas, and the next 5 6 verses describe the preparation or the preparation on the side of the Pandavas. On the Pandavas side also, when Krishna and Arjuna and all the different warriors, they start blowing the conch, how they are shattering the heart of Duryodhana because the trumpet, or the sound vibration is so strong in that side of the battlefield that is, little bit causing a great fear in the heart of all the all the soldiers of the army of Kurus. So as soon as they hear it, their hearts are a little bit shattered because even though the army of Pandavas are less, but the enthusiasm to fight is so great, is so wonderful that it's causing a little bit of anxiety for Duryodhana. And then after that, Arjuna is requesting Krishna to draw his chariot between the two armies to observe the Kuru armies and just to see, who all he's been facing. So he requests Krishna that please take my chariot. And Arjuna sees many of his relatives, well-wishers, friends, grandfathers, teachers, grandsons, uncles from all sides, are fighting against him or for him. And he's so confused actually what he has to do. So this is about the first section of Srimad Bhagavatam, where uh, where it's very wonderfully explaining about the preparation of the war. So I'll not go very much in detail in the preparation of the war because this we have gone through last time also. But the most important thing is I'll go into the doubts what Arjuna has presented. But still, just to give an overview of what uh, what has been discussed here, I'll just go through uh, few things. Like there is this very important thing about what are the conch, Krishna and Arjuna and Yudhishthir Maharaj and Nakul and Sahadev are blowing. That's a very, very, very wonderful description. And the chariot description of Arjuna, where Hanumanji is sitting on the flag and making and rendering service to the Lord. So all these things are very, very wonderfully explained. So Krishna blows his Panchaganyas conch, Arjuna blows his Devadatta's conch, and Yudhishthir blows his Ananta Vijay, and Bhima blows his Pundara, Bhishma blows his, Bhima blows his Pundara conch shell, and then Nakul and Sahadeva, Sagosh and Manitiksha. So after blowing, we see how it goes. And then Hanumanji is reciting, the symbol of Vishnu is there on the and transcendental conscious and other things like that. Okay, now we come to this section where Lord Krishna has drawn the chariot, and then Arjuna sees what with whom he is going to fight, and uh, so this section of Bhagavad Gita from verse number 1.27 to 1. The end of the chapter Bhagavad Gita. That's like very wonderful to discuss about. in the 27th verse, or 28th verse, Arjuna is telling, Arjuna Uvacha Drishtam Sa Janam Krishna Yutsam Samupashchitam Siddhanti Mam Pratani Mukam Cha Parishu Parishu. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friend and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel my limbs of my body querying and my mouth drying up. Just understand what's happening here. Arjuna is feeling a very different type of emotion. What is coming out of his seeing the great battlefield, and he's expressing how he is feeling actually. Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport here. And if you just read one line, one or two lines of the purport are very, very beautiful. Just want to bring that thing. Prabhupada is telling, any man who has a genuine devotion to the Lord has all good qualities which are found in a godly person or in the demigods. Whereas the non-devotees, however advanced he may be in material qualification by education and culture, lacks in good qualities. As such, Arjuna, just by seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. So he's here, Prabhupada is very wonderfully presenting this beautiful point that a devotee means he's always having godly consciousness. He's a godly person and he has a quality of compassion actually, and he has like always looking forward for showing compassion to other living entities. He doesn't want to, as a pure devotee, he has a very soft cornered heart. So Prabhupada is bringing this very beautiful thing, though, it may apparently look that Arjuna has this weakness, but if you see from a pure devotee's heart, it's like soft-hearted heart, what feelings the devotee have, towards him. And then it's very wonderfully indicated how, Arjuna is feeling sympathetic for both the parties, not just for his own party. And then he's as a person, as a non-devotee, he's advanced in education and culture but lack godly qualities. Whereas they're always hovering on the mental plane. But for a devotee, because he's in touch with the Supreme Lord, he has unflinching devotion towards the Lord Krishna, that he has so many good qualities which manifest. And these qualities, when they manifest, these are the one actually, they are very, very wonderful qualities, which attract not just other living beings, but also attracts the Supreme Lord. Because as devotee become more and more humble, more and more soft in his heart, that attracts the Supreme Lord to a greater extreme. So Arjuna is looking at everyone as Swajana, but Duryodhana is looking at everyone as Parijana. It's like everyone is different, he's like not my uh, my relative. But here everyone he's looking at Sajana. And the Arjuna has that vision. So for a devotee, he wants to always have this vision that he wants to consider everyone as Sajana, not like Parijana. Parijana, that is the difference what outside people have. They always think this is not mine, this is not me. But when we go out and see, everyone is Sajana for us. So this is something, what Arjuna has been expressing here. And from next verse, he gives the reasons for not to fight. And one of the first reasons what he gives for not fighting is compassion actually. He tells that, my body is trembling, my hairs are standing on the end, and my Gandiva is slipping from my hand. Gandivam smarte haste Vak Chaiva Parijayate. He just, his eyes are burning, his skin is burning, and my Gandiva, which is, in my hand, is slipping. Generally, for Arjuna, Gandiva never slips. But here, what is happening with him is something which is very, very different. So there are 9 points, like, what has been expressed in this couple of verses, where, the signs of compassion of Arjuna has been expressed, that his limbs are querying. When limbs are querying, it's like, and his mouth is drying up. The mouth is completely dried up, and his whole body is trembling. His hair are standing on the end. His hands, the Gandiva, what he's holding, is slipping out of his hand. His skin is burning, and his legs are unable to stand any longer due to impatience. And then he's forgetting himself, and his mind is reeling around. It's like completely getting backed out. It's like, and then due to the weakness of the heart, and he sees only cause of misfortune. Last symptom what he sees is that everything, whatever will happen, is just because it will cause a great amount of misfortune. So seeing this thing, Prabhupada writes in this purport, very beautiful sentence. It's a very contradictory thing that he writes about what we heard about compassion, soft-heartedness in the first purport. He writes Arjuna's symptoms in these situations are out of material fear, namely because of the loss of life. And here, initially, when we hear about the soft-heartedness, about the heart of a pure devotee, and here it is, Prabhupada is speaking about the phenomenon that the symptoms are due to material fear. So Prabhupada is one way contradicting himself, but if you understand very clearly, it is not contradictory to his own things, but is presenting from the viewpoint of a warrior here. His external symptoms, what he is presenting here. And there in the verse, in the first verse, Prabhupada is speaking of from the point of view of a pure devotee. So when it comes about a devotee, then his heart is always soft. But when it comes as a warrior, where Arjuna is on, as a warrior, he is there, then all these things are always like the thing which are in one way lacking that way. So Arjuna, it's like, and then these symptoms are like again discussed more and more. In this verse. Next, if we go, Arjuna tells about his first argument. What he gives is about the compassion. Cause of compassion is different. That he's becoming fearful and he's not able to take the right decision, and this is making his life more and more into frustration at what his exactly role should be. And in the next verse, in verse number 31, he gives the viewpoint, that that he should not fight because it's because of enjoyment actually. I'll not be able to enjoy in this material world. Arjuna thinks that will not be able to enjoy his kingdom. If the kingdom is one, even if it is one, for whom will I enjoy? Because I'll be killing all my kingsmen. I'll be killing all the people around. So I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kingsmen in this battlefield. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So here he is expressing how even if he tries to enjoy, it's like it's not possible for him to enjoy. So Arjuna sees, Arjuna sees, he's not seeing his own thing, but he's seeing his own, he's not seeing Krishna's will, but he's seeing his own vision actually. And he's putting that vision to in front of Krishna, how he's perceiving the things around in the battlefield. So if we see, he's calling Krishna as the, Arjuna cannot enjoy the kingdom at the cost of killing relatives. Why? Because as a Kshatriya, if someone is dying, in front of Krishna, what is happening around? If we see from the spiritual point of view, anyone who dies in the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, what happens to them?
They're getting liberated.
Yeah.
Is it dying in front of Krishna?
So, sorry, I could not hear properly.
Mataji mean to say they get liberated.
Yes, they get liberated. because they are dying in front of Krishna, what happens is either on the battlefield of Kurukshetra when they are dying and when they are seeing Krishna, so they definitely get they get liberated in one way. In fact, they go back to the spiritual world because they see Krishna at the time of the death. And one who remembers or sees Krishna at the time of death, for him the spiritual life, for him the destination is fixed to go back home to the place where Krishna is there. So, that is one good advantage that, everyone who is going to die, in the battlefield of, that, and everyone is fighting under the order of Krishna. So, in that way also, they get an opportunity for everyone to enter into the spiritual world. But if we see Arjuna as a Kshatriya, what is he presenting here is he's forgetting this moral code of a Kshatriya. That if a Kshatriya doesn't fight the battlefield, what happens? He goes into the darkest region of the hell if he runs away from the battlefield and other things like that. Because he's losing his opportunity to perform his dharma, or he's losing his opportunity to perform his prescribed duty of fighting. But on the other side, he's just presenting that, if I am attracted to the bodily relationships, hoping to be happy, then that is the consciousness of a living entity. And what does as Arjuna is presenting that if I kill all the relatives, then how can I be happy in this life? With whom will I share my happiness? He is not willing to fight because if someone is hungry or someone is not able to cook, or then it's obvious that he will die. I can just fast and I can die, but then he is not able to decide because he wanted to just lead himself in a secluded place. That is what he's telling, that I don't want to fight. Better, like there is this analogy is given. If I am not hungry, I'm not going to cook only. I'm not going to cook because I'm not hungry. So as a Kshatriya also, as a Arjuna, as a fighter, as a Kshatriya, he's just telling that I don't want to fight. That means what? He just wants to escape that I on the field, that on the battlefield, that telling, okay, I am not hungry, so I'm not going to cook. I'm not hungry for the kingdom now because I see there is so much loss. So I just want to be in that consciousness. So this is what actually he discussed in Arjuna is not ready to fight even in the exchange of the three worlds. That's what he's telling. And he tells very beautifully, in the purport of this 35th chapter, 35th verse, Arjuna could see wide varieties of relatives. Who all he sees actually. He sees Pitamaha, grandfather, Bhishma, Somadatta, fighting against him. He sees Pitras, Pitras is fatherly figures who are there in front of him. And, they are like, Bhurishwara, Drona, Kripacharya, he sees teachers, he sees Salya, Sakuni, Dropada, all these things are, in front of him, or just like, very great personalities, and fatherly personalities. And then he sees same generation people, of his age, they are there. He sees brothers, Duryodhan and his brothers, with whom he had grown up. Though there is envious nature among them, but they had, they were relatives in one way. So they used to live together at many years. Now they are fighting against each other, trying to kill. He sees friends like Ashwadhama and others who are there, ready to fight. He sees his friends, Drishtadumna, brother-in-law, Jayadatra, everyone are assembled here just to fight in front of him. And he sees his own sons, actually, 5 sons of Draupadi, Abhimanyu, Subhadra, Lakshman, everyone from their side, Lakshman is there. From our side, Abhimanyu is there. So everyone are there who are coming and assembled here to fight. So it's like one of the greatest fights actually what is taking place here. And then he sees his grandsons. Grandsons are Lakshmana's sons. What he sees that they have assembled there to fight amongst each other. So if we see if there is a small fight in the family also, we become so disturbed when two relatives fight, even though if we are involved or we are not involved. Here, what is happening is everyone, all the family members of the family have come and they are ready to fight. And then see here in our fight, what happens is someone somehow if fight takes place in the family, they fight verbally only. But here, what is happening on the battlefield, just understand, why Arjuna is so much disturbed. They have come with bows and arrows and they're ready to kill each other actually. It's like something which is not understandable for Arjuna because Arjuna is a devotee, Vaishnava, greatest Vaishnava, one of the close friends of Krishna. And he sees that, we are relatives or what, he's just questioning himself actually that we have assembled here just to kill each other. So it's like something is so disturbing in one way, one way they could have led their lives very peacefully. But then just because of little disagreement between, few personalities, is this battlefield is this war is taking place. So it's like something which is for us to reflect also that how, it's very, very challenging, for us to understand. And then Prabhupada gives very beautifully, one of the words Krishna, Arjuna uses in this is that, he uses the word Govinda. Prabhupada writes in one of the word, but Govinda means Krishna is the object of all pleasures for the cows and the senses. So here Arjuna is using this word and that indicates very beautifully that, Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. And that's why he's using, please, oh Krishna, please understand what will be my satisfaction. So materially, everyone wants to satisfy his own senses. And, that is what Arjuna was also thinking that Krishna should understand what my senses are requiring. He should just try to satisfy that thing. And, he wants that, the Supreme Lord Krishna as Govinda to be his order supplier for his own satisfaction. But if we see the right conception of Govinda is that Lord will be satisfied when we engage our senses in His service. That is what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. That if we engage more and more our senses in the Lord's service, that much our senses get purified and that much our senses get satisfied. This is one of the secrets actually of devotional service. That if we find the right engagement in devotional service, then it becomes very wonderful actually. Whereas if we try to satisfy our own senses by trying to giving, a lot of material happiness, material engagement, trying to enjoy in our own way, the more we try, the more the senses actually demand more and more. And somehow the the nature of the happiness what we are running after in this material world, the material happiness is very, very temporary also. Very, very temporary. And we try to run and it's so difficult to obtain also. It's not so easy. We want to be satisfied. Our senses are so limited also that we want to give so much, but we cannot give the senses so much. And at the same time, if we try to satisfy Krishna just by engaging our senses in the Lord's service, we see how it is so wonderful that little bit of our, engaging our senses in Krishna's service helps us to attain great amount of satisfaction. Just see, if on Janmashtami day we are fasting completely and we are trying to serve all the devotees, all the people who are coming, how much satisfaction it brings to the heart actually. Or, Rath Yatra is coming, we take part in the Rath Yatra. For hours and hours we are doing services. That amount of satisfaction is something which is very wonderful, like that is something which, the senses or the mind and the body needs actually. And somehow it's an unfortunate situation also sometimes in our life that, when there's services which are coming on the way and then we are, due to some reason or the other, if we are not able to engage ourselves in the services. So in one way, it's like something like a greater loss on our side because we cannot purify our senses or we cannot satisfy our senses. So Prabhupada writes very beautifully in this purport where, he speaks about the word Govinda. And, Govinda is the word, that, that all desires of the living entity are satisfied just by engaging our senses in the Lord's service. So these are very beautiful purports, this verse 35th purport is like very beautifully explained actually. So, and if you go ahead, there's so many things what are discussed here, and if you see from verse number this the next verse, Arjuna's fearful of sinful reaction. This is again he's giving one of the reasons, from verse number 36. He's giving the reason of fear of sinful reaction. That sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it's not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. Papa, he tells he's more he discusses about Papa. Sajjana hi katam hatva sukham sham madhava. Krishna, O husband of goddess of fortune. How could we have happiness by killing our own kinsmen? So he's just trying to think that this is one of the greatest fear. One of the reasons he gives. First reason he gives is about the compassion. That description is there where his all bodily limbs are shivering. His body is trembling. His gandiva is slipping from his hand and other stuff like that. And then second reason he gives is about enjoyment. That I cannot even enjoy. Whom will I enjoy? If I kill all my relatives, then whom will I enjoy? And, oh Govinda, please understand what my senses need. That is what Arjuna is telling. And then here he is telling that out of fear of sinful reaction, if I kill so many people, how much sin I will incur. So it's like something which is unimaginable also. Sometimes we think now, if we commit small sinful activity, how much reaction we get. I was just hearing the lecture of Radha Govind Maharaj about Ajamil. And during the Ajamil description, he tells that, Array, he speaks so beautifully, actually, so sweetly. And during his talk, he tells how, if a person actually commits any sinful activities, how much, how much he has to suffer. He tells that, if someone eats or no, someone drinks wine, even one glass of wine, अरे नरक में जाएगा, नरक में जाके क्या क्या उसको भोग सहना पड़ेगा. He tells that people will be, you see that he tells about the description from the hell, and then he describes how a person is caught actually by the Yamdutas, and hot wine, whatever quantity of wine he is drinking, he has to drink that thing. Even though he's not willing to drink, he's caught by three Yamdutas from three different directions, and his mouth is opened with, like how we have cutting, board and other things like that. His mouth is open and hot, they pour the hot wine actually, hot fire actually, as how much amount of wine we drink. बोले कितना यहाँ पर भोग करेगा, वहां पर उतना उसको वहां सहन करना पड़ेगा. So he tells very wonderfully that if we commit any sinful activity here, then definitely we have to pay the price, and that is what Arjuna is telling. But Prabhupada writes also in this purport very nicely. There are 6 types of aggressors. Anyone knows about the 6 types of aggressors? You all have heard the complete Gita. So let us hear if someone remembers the 6 types of aggressors. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Someone wants to tell the 6 types of aggressors? Am I audible?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't know. I'm sorry. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay, the 6 types of aggressor, if you all don't know, I'll just tell. Prabhupada writes in the purport of first chapter 36 verse, he tells that there are 6 kinds of aggressors. One who gives poison to others, or one who sets fire to the house, or one who attacks the dead with deadly weapons, and one who plunders the riches, or one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. So these type of aggressors, if they attack us, then definitely we can fight and we can kill them actually. And Prabhupada gives the example of how Lord Ram, he attacked he attacked Ravana and he killed Ravana because Ravana had kidnapped his wife. And he gives many other examples like this. So whenever these 6 type of aggressors are there, then definitely we can give this thing. So from verse,
Excuse me, Prabhuji, can you repeat that? Thank you, Prabhuji.
yeah, 6 types of aggressors are a person who gives poison to other person, or one who, this is first. Second one is one who sets fire to the house. Third one is one who attacks with deadly weapons. Fourth one is one who plunders riches, or one who tries to cheat or loot other persons of his wealth. And fifth one is one who occupies another's land. And sixth one is one who kidnaps or does wrong with his wife or uh, the women around. So if anything happens, then definitely one can fight. There is no incur of sin if we try to protect ourselves when we are in these situations. We don't incur any sin. That's what Prabhupada is explaining, that how we can fight in these 6 situations. So this is out of fear of sinful activities. He's presenting these things, that O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts are overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one of our families or quarreling with them, with friends. Why should we do such a crime in destroying the family, engaging in such acts of sin? This is what Arjuna is telling. Arjuna's thought process is that, if I do this thing, then it will be I'll be incurring a lot of sin. And then one of the reasons ahead, what Arjuna gives is Kulakasya pranashyati kula dharma sanatana dharme naste kulam kshetram adharma abhiyanta uta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family traditions is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in religion, in irreligion. This is what happened. Like, oh, this today, I think today onwards, this Pitra Paksha also is starting, I think. And, so if our discussion also is like that only, that, there is the description of who will take care, if all the family traditions will be destroyed, that is Varnashram institution will be destroyed. The role of the elders are there, death of elderly people takes place, then there is complete destruction. And what will happen, he's telling. They are very wonderfully 4 things actually what are taking place. If the fighting takes place, they are like, death of the elderly people will take place. If the death of elderly people will take place, then what happens is there is no direction, or there is no one to guide the family members, and then the family traditions will stop. Then there is irreligion, increase of irreligion. With the destruction of the dynasty, with the destruction of the elderly people, then irreligion will be prominent, because people will not live according to the religious principle. That's why, when we have elderly people in the house, there's always this fear, I should not do anything wrong. If I do anything wrong, then definitely I'll be chastised or anything like that. I remember still, when my grandfather was there, my father and all my uncles, they used to be very obedient actually. Whatever my grandfather used to tell, they used to follow very, very properly. And, there was never a time that, we did anything wrong in the family. But, after eventually when grandfather had left this world, and then, we see over a period of time, it was like time had come, then everyone decided that, okay, we'll live separately now. Because he's like a person who holds the complete family. It was like that. And we all were very happy serving each other, living with each other. But then as soon as that person had left us, then all things start, going down actually. So we need elders actually in our life, because what happens is they hold the family traditions. If they don't hold, then what happens? Family traditions are destroyed. And then if family traditions are destroyed, then what happens? The women get polluted. The woman, because of the irreligion is very, very prominent, the woman in the family gets polluted very easily. When woman needs protection, that's why. And when women are not protected, then it's like, it becomes a very, very wrong thing actually. And then everything gets degraded actually. People's consciousness get degraded, people, thoughts get degraded. And by engaging such in such irreligious principles, what happens is, you know, there is so much adultery which takes place. And when there is so much adultery which takes place, then there is always the out product is that there is Varna Sankara. We see that, unwanted people, unwanted childbirth takes place, and then when, for any person actually, uh, to be taking, there was one thing, 1 second, I wanted to just tell very beautifully. Where did I see that thing? There are so many samskaras actually. What are there's so many samskaras what one has to do actually. And 1 second, where is it? There are 16 samskaras according to Manu Samhita that a person has to go. One is Garbhadan Samskar. There is Puhansa Sanskar, Simanta Sanskar. There is Jata Karma, Nama Karma, Nishkama Samskar, that when the child is first brought to the home. Annaprasan, then there is piercing of the ear, that is one samskar. First time we are cutting the hair, that is a samskar. Upanayam, that is one samskar. A person is getting married, Vivah samskar. There are so many different samskaras actually, what one has to follow actually in his life. But nowadays, because there are no proper guidance from the elders, we hardly do these samskars. And then we expect that everyone should become a very gentleman. How will that happen? So that will never happen actually, that will never take place. So this is what Arjuna is telling, that if we face this problem, then this will be very, very difficult actually. So if elders of the family member are not there, then what happened? The responsible for the purificatory process in the family, from there, there is a degradation in the responsibility for purification process in the family of birth and death. And the moment the elders die, then what happens? This purification stops. As soon as the purification stops, what happened? Young members will become irreligion. All the family members who are young, they become irreligion. And as soon as they become irreligion, then there is loss of spiritual elevation, spiritual salvation. That's why people nowadays are hardly bothered about any spiritual salvation. What is happening ahead, no one thinks about that thing. And when irreligion is prominent, what happens is women become, women and children, they need protection. That protection is removed. And as soon as the protection is removed, women become polluted. And then there is unwanted progeny which takes place, that is Varna Sankara. And then there is always the risk of war and, which takes place because of the unwanted progeny. And because the unwanted progeny, their mindsets are already degraded because there is no samskaras which are done. So this is what Arjuna is telling, that the complete family tradition will be at the loss. Arjuna sees the complete failure of Varnashram system, when he sees that way he is fighting. So his thinking is very, very extraordinary also. So then, everyone will go to hell actually, and the complete family will be going to hell, and all the traditions will be like destroyed. So Arjuna is presenting here the different reasons of, why he should not fight. And the last reason he tells, Arjuna decides that, he doesn't want to enter into the fight now. And then the last decision is indecision actually. That better for me is that if the sons of Dhritarashtra, they win the war, and if they want, they can kill me also. I'll just leave my weapons and they can easily come on the battlefield and kill me. That is indecision. So Arjuna is just telling that and stopping from fighting. So this is what is the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where first is the preparation of the war, and the second is Arjuna's doubts, Arjuna's confusions about what should be his thing. Okay, now it's 8:25. Generally we end by 8:20. I've taken a little over time, so please forgive me. If there is one question I can take or else one reflection, and then I have to end because here Bhakti Janardhan Maharaj is giving a talk, Srimad Bhagavatam class.
I can ask a quick question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I have heard, I'm not sure if it's true, that Duryodhan also got liberated. I mean, he went to Godhead. And so, I mean, because he was very loyal to his friend, that was the reason we were given. But Shakuni Mama, it's unbelievable that he also, because he died in the battlefield, he should get liberated, you know?
That
So
is
what do you have to say to that, Prabhuji?
that is one of the best benefits of being on the battlefield where Krishna is present. When Krishna is present, definitely all of the members of the battlefield, they got one way they got liberated in the sense they got an opportunity to go back to the place where Krishna is there. But the purification happens. When Krishna is there, somehow or the other, when they are dying, the complete purification of the heart takes place. Even though there might be very sinful personalities who are there, who are, at the time when they're living, their hearts might be very, very sinful. But when Krishna is there, he can purify the hearts within a second and then they can be purified and been taken to the right place. So definitely, they have got the highest destination, when they die actually on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in front of Krishna. So that is one of the greatest opportunity for them in one way. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. But actually, it may be because in Ramayana, what was her name? Kaikeyi's, the lady who used to guide Kaikeyi, I believe, was actually, she was a good
Mantra.
lady. Huh?
Mantra.
Yeah, mantra was actually, it was Lakshmi ji had come on her tongue, and that's why she was doing all this. So basically, but Shakuni Mama's, we don't know any background. What was his soul, how elevated it was before this and after this. No, there's no, I have no knowledge about that.
Yeah, it's okay. We need not know what is his destination, what had happened. But for sure, when we understand the spiritual principles, that anyone who is leaving the body in the presence of the Lord, definitely the destination for him is very, very auspicious actually. So he might be a sinful soul, but the destination what the other person gets when he leaves his body is very, very supreme. That's why so many people, why they go to Kashi and they want to leave their body, because it is told it's very auspicious that Lord Shiva will come there and chant the name of Lord Ram in your ears when you leave the body. And so many people go and die in Kashi. There is this Manikarnika Ghat where dead bodies are burnt every time. Even now the dead bodies are still burning, I can tell you, because there's not a single time when dead bodies are not burning. There's so many people, they come there just to die because they feel the auspicious thing that will be able to hear the Lord's name, and people go there to die actually in one way. So because it's like Antakale Chamamekam, and that, and if you just remember the Lord at the time of death, it's very, very auspicious. Now, what to speak of these personalities who died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? For them, the destination is definitely for sure that Krishna has given them a very nice destination, very nice place to come there. Their hearts are getting purified because at the end they are able to see Krishna, and then they are going back home, back to Godhead in one way, because Krishna's presence is there. That's what Krishna is. The Krishna factor is so important actually that you may think that he might be doing something wrong, but then the end result is what's so wonderful actually. Bhishma Dev, when he was dying on the battlefield, who was there? Krishna himself had come. So what is his destination? His destination is also same. In fact, his destination is more supreme. He gave pleasure to Krishna by fighting on the battlefield, by piercing his body with the arrows. So Krishna wanted that Kshatriya, that rasa to be tasted, that someone should fight with him. And Bhishmadev was giving that rasa to him by fighting with bow arrows, and making his body pierced with the arrows and blood coming out of Krishna's body. These are like very wonderful things what a devotee and the Lord and reciprocation what had taken place there. So, we cannot judge actually. Where in Krishna consciousness, somehow or the other, we cannot judge, what happens to a person when he leaves the body. It's very, very difficult actually. But if he's able to remember the Lord's name at the time of death, Krishna will definitely take care of that soul actually. If he's in front of the Lord, what to speak if he's there in front of the Lord? Definitely. The purification happens very fast actually. We cannot imagine how fast the purification takes place. That is like something which is very, very inconceivable for us also. How this purification takes place actually.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Last one thing before we end, just
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Thank you
Pranam.
so much for this nectarian class, and you cover so many points today.
No,
Like,
today now the first chapter is over. So next time when we go, we can go to second chapter.
second chapter, yes. And also about Bhadra Purnima, you explained so nicely. Whoever don't have Bhagavatam set, they can
Yeah,
have.
please, if you all anyone doesn't have a Bhagavatam set, my request is please take a Bhagavatam set from Sham Rasika Mataji. Or if you don't want to take, I can give you my number. You please call me, I'll send it from New York. I don't mind.
Yes, Prabhuji. So last month, Geeta Mataji got Bhagavatam set from her call. So let's chant Haribol to her.
Hare
Haribol.
Haribol.
Hari
Haribol.
bol. Hari bol.
You know how many are here? 10 members are here now on the call. How many? Everyone has a Bhagavatam set?
We have, Prabhuji.
Everyone has? Okay.
No, Prabhuji. I don't think so. Everybody has.
Everybody.
Surinder Prabhu, he don't have. And I don't. Krishna, I don't know. Arti Mataji.
Surendra Prabhu, you want to
I
take a
don't have
Bhagavatam
either.
set today? Surendra Prabhu, you want to take a Bhagavatam set today?
We
Aarti
will.
Mataji also don't have. Yeah.
How many want to take a Bhagavatam set? Today is a very auspicious day. Please consider this thing. To have a Bhagavatam set is very, very wonderful.
Yes, Prabhuji. Arti Mataji, Krishna Mataji, Surinder Prabhu, Ripshita Mataji. Yes, we have two sets, Prabhuji, in Marathi and English.
Yeah. Anyone wants to take, please, we encourage everyone to come forward and take a Bhagavatam set. That will be the success actually. That,
Yeah. So every day listening Bhagavatam and every morning and reading Bhagavatam at home.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, let us know, me or Prabhuji, then we can provide you. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, and you explained so nicely about the keyword, like Radhanath Swami said that the key of every problem is Harinam Chintamani. Yeah. So that also very nicely you explained, Prabhuji. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody has any question or comment? Okay. Let's to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarusha kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant koti Vaishnav ki jai.
Jai.
Das Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Gopal ki jai. Grantaraj
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai. Bhagavad
Ki jai.
Grace Shri Gopal Pran Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Bhadra Purnima ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Happy Bhadra
Hare
Purnima.
Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you for
Krishna.
encouraging everyone.
Haribol.
Hari bol.
Hare
Hari bol.